turn. You can laugh, you can learn. Chelley Roy, it's your turn. You can laugh, you can learn. Chelley Roy, it's your turn.
Good evening. Thank you for tuning in to the Chelley Roy Show. I am your host, Chelley Roy, and we have a great show for you guys tonight. Great show. I can't stress that enough. We have a great show. I hope you guys are being safe and sanitized. I hope you guys are having a great week so far. Before I start the show, I always like to start off thanking my sponsors. The Chelley Roy Show is sponsored by Built on Survival Skills Apparel. We're also sponsored by Liquid Lipo, where you could lose up to 1 pound a day. I also want to thank my makeup artist, Amber Singletary, and my photographer, Steven Tucker. For tips on how to become a boss, be sure to check out ShellyBossUp.com. You guys be sure to stay tuned and don't go anywhere, because up next we have Miss Natalia Megan and Mr. Keith Childs. Up next after the break. Do you or anyone you know have a business or a brand you want to promote? Would you like to be a guest or be a part of our studio audience? If so, contact us at thechelleyroyshow@gmail.com or contact us on Instagram at The Chelley Roy Show. Can't wait to hear from you guys.
Never stop dreaming. Never stop dreaming.
Welcome back to the Chelley Roy Show. I am your host, Chelley Roy, and here with me is beauty mogul Natalia Megan, aka Schenika. So I told you, it's in my brain. It's in my brain. So welcome, Schenika.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So listen, there's so much that we got to get into and so much that we need to talk about. But before we get into that, tell everybody who Schenika is and what's your story.
Ooh, my story.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't have that much time, but
we got a little bit of time.
I'm Schenika Quattlebaum. I'm the owner of Natalia Megan Hair and Beauty. We started in August of 2018. We've been rocking and rolling literally ever since.
Yes, you have.
Every since.
Yes, you have. And congratulations to you, because that's a
you.
huge accomplishment. Huge accomplishment, for sure.
Thank you.
For sure. So, where'd you grow up? Are you born and raised in the DMV, or?
No.
No?
I'm back and forth.
Okay.
Originally Dallas, but I
Okay.
used to come here in the summers, and I moved here several years ago, back in the 90s.
Gotcha. Okay, good. So Dallas is still home and the DMV is still
Always.
home.
Always.
Awesome. It's always good to have those options to be able to go back and
Absolutely.
forth. So listen, how did you get started with the makeup? And I know the brand is Natalia Megan, and it's named after your granddaughter.
Yes.
It's very befitting. So how did you come up with the brand, and how did you get started with doing the makeup?
Actually, I came up with this years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't in a situation where I could literally start a business. I was in a domestic situation, so I had to escape that.
Yeah.
And then in 2017, I was like, okay, Schenika, it's time to rock and roll.
Good.
So I started researching different vendors because I started out with hair. And I
Okay.
was selling hair.
Okay.
Something clicked in me. I don't really know. And I was like, what am I doing? I can make my own
Do
colors.
everything, yeah.
Right. So I literally went in my kitchen and started experimenting with different lip gloss colors.
Wow.
Yeah. So everything started in the kitchen.
Everything started in the kitchen. I love that. So you must also be great in math, because is it formula based, or how did you come
My
up
uncle is
with?
a chemist. So
That's the
I had
secret.
help.
That's the secret. That's good though.
But I
That's
am good
though.
at math, and I am good with formulas and that sort of thing. Science, math was my favorite subject, so
That's really
I'm a little
good.
bookworm.
Really good. So if you could walk me through it a little bit. So when you first came up with your first idea, let's say the first color that you thought about after you came up with the name, Natalia Megan, and you went through that and what that would look like. Walk me through how you actually made the first color. Like what went into that?
Blood, sweat, and tears.
Blood, sweat, and tears,
It
of
took
course.
6 tries. My very first color was off red, not like a bright red, but a more dimmer red. Red is my favorite color.
I love it. Looks
So,
good on you though.
Thank you. So that was the very first color, and when I say it literally took 6 attempts
I
to
can
perfect
imagine.
it, because
Yeah.
you don't want it too light, you don't want it too dark, you want it to be buildable. I remember it was in a squeeze tube, a little squeeze tube, and I posted it on Facebook.
Okay.
And people were like, I want to buy it.
They went crazy.
I'm like, you want to buy this thing?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
I love that. I
yeah.
love that, because even as an idea, and even as you go through the several attempts with the different formulas and the mixtures and things of that nature, like you said, it took you a while to perfect it, but you knew what you were looking for once you saw it in terms of the shade,
Absolutely.
which is important. And talk to me a little bit about buildable for the viewers and the audience who, may really just be getting into makeup, because you have stages with the makeup. Because I remember when I started, it was just with the eyeliner and then the lip gloss and then everything else came. So explain to us a little bit about buildable, what you mean by
What I
buildable.
found is, myself included, I don't like a heavy color. I want
Yeah.
to be able to put on maybe one coat, depending on, how I feel. If I just want something to give my lip a little pop, and then be able to put on 2 coats if I want it to be like really intense in color.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay.
That's buildable.
Now, what do you have on, 1 or 2 coats?
1.
Really? That's pretty.
This is
Can
my
you guys get
temptation.
a closer look at that? Can you guys zoom in? Not to put you on the spot, but that is so pretty. Can you guys zoom in on that? That is so pretty. It looks like you're nothing like me then, because I probably have on 3 coats.
This is 1 coat.
That is so pretty. Really, really pretty.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. So with that being said, is that a long wear, especially with COVID,
Yes.
being in the mix and, being able to, still feel and look pretty with your mask on. So is it mask approved?
Yes, it is. This is one of my matte colors. This is, what color? The Forbidden, actually.
Forbidden.
This is Forbidden.
Good. It
During
is so
COVID, I've
pretty.
had to wear more mattes, and I'm a lip gloss person, believe it or not.
Oh yeah.
But this is definitely mask approved.
I love that. You guys hear that? You guys make sure you be sure to check out Natalia Megan and get the, what is it? Forbidden Red?
Forbidden red.
Forbidden Red. It is mask approved.
Yes, ma'am.
That is so pretty. So with the hair, I know you said you started out with the hair. And I feel like for me, presentation is everything. I'm a girly girl. I believe in, you know, looking good internally as well as externally, but I believe they go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
You know, the hair, the makeup. So what made you, so are they separate? Is the hair underneath the Natalia Megan brand as well, or is it separate?
No, initially it's underneath. I find that I'm doing less and less with
Hair,
the hair,
of course.
and more with beauty because it's just too crazy. Like I can't juggle both. And in fact, I notice, if I'm being very transparent,
Yeah, please.
I'm natural. So
Yeah.
I don't do a lot of weaves anymore.
Yeah.
It'll have to be a special event and I'll throw a wig on, but I find that I'm wearing less and less weave.
I agree.
So-
I agree. It's always good to have the option, though.
Yeah,
You know, to just be able to have that toolkit of bags and tricks to just pull out.
So my focus has shifted to the beauty side of things.
I love that. And it's in demand. It's
It
really in
definitely
demand,
is. It
especially.
definitely is.
I kind of want to say that it was in demand pre-COVID because, like you said, people are just going more towards the natural look.
Absolutely.
Even with the makeup, you know,
Yeah.
when I leave the house now, just give me a nice brow, maybe some eyeliner and maybe some lip gloss.
Something on your lips.
Yeah, so it's definitely a need for it. What else do you have in the Natalia Megan brand?
We have 42 lash styles. We have magnetic lashes,
Wow.
12 and 25 color eyeshadow palettes.
Ooh,
Yeah, everything for your lip, gloss, liquid lip, and lipstick. This summer, we're launching foundation,
that was my next question.
brow pencils, lip liners, brow powder. So we
I
have highlighter.
love it.
Yeah.
So with the foundation, so I'm a foundation girl, but I find myself gravitating more towards the, what do you call it? The one that gives you the all over skin tone.
The
The BB
coverage.
cream or the tinted moisturizer.
Okay.
That way it gives me a little bit of coverage, but it gives me that
But it's
even
light.
glow. You know what I
Exactly,
mean?
like
So
a
are you
dewy
guys gonna
look.
have, yes, that's exactly, I love the dewy look in the summertime.
And yes, we're going to have that.
That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, that's my go-to in the summer. I don't wear, even though I have a makeup brand, my lips, like you said, my lips, some mascara,
And that's it.
and a little powder.
That's it. That's all you really
don't do a
need.
lot.
And you're naturally pretty. I mean,
Thank
you don't
you.
need a lot of people where you can actually say that, but you're naturally
you.
pretty.
Thank
And
you.
you don't really need the makeup. So let's talk about lashes. You hear that, ladies? Let's talk about lashes. I'm a everything girl. Let me say that. Makeup, lipstick, the whole 9 yards. But I could do without the makeup. I could do without the lipstick, but I can't do without my lashes.
Really?
So let's talk about those magnetic lashes.
I love them. They are so easy. I would actually have them on if my allergies didn't attack me today.
Yeah, the allergies. This pollen has been crazy. It's been horrible. So I can relate.
Crazy.
Definitely relate. So talk to me about the magnetic lashes. I've been seeing them on folks' timelines. I mean, it's all over Instagram. Somebody has some type of magnetic lashes, and I want to try it, but I'm a little leery because I'm really, really dramatic. I'm a little leery that if I put them on, then they won't look like I want them to look, or they won't stay on, or I just don't know how to do it. Because everybody that I know love them
Yeah.
and say that it's super easy, but
It
I'm just
is.
like,
Do you put on eyeliner?
every now and then. I don't wear
If
it
you
every
can
day.
put on eyeliner, that's all the magnetic lash is. You put
Not
on
the liquid though. You mean the liquid? I put on the regular, just the pencil, not
The
the
liquid
liquid.
is just like a pencil. Don't be nervous.
You make
Literally.
it sound so
It
easy.
is. It's just, I've had people who have never worn lashes a day in their life who literally has snapped on those lashes in 30 seconds.
Really?
And have texted and called me like, girl, I did it.
Okay. So I'm
Trust
gonna have
me.
to get some of your magnetic lashes.
Okay.
So You said you have how many?
Well, we
different
have,
kinds?
in magnetic, I have 2 different lash styles. One
Okay.
is very dramatic and one is like an everyday lash.
I like
But
the
in
dramatic one.
traditional lashes, I have 42 different styles from everyday to runway.
Gotcha. So runway being what?
25M.
Okay.
25mm.
Gotcha.
And even the 5D ones are
Wow.
very dramatic.
I'm gonna have to try them for
Yeah.
sure. So, do you do tutorials like with the magnetic ones? Because
You
I think
know
I would
what?
need help with that.
I didn't do a tutorial, but I have someone who did a tutorial video for me.
Okay.
Although I have videos of me literally putting it on and comparing my left eye to my right or my right eye to my left, but it took 20 seconds. I have a 20-second clip on
Wow.
my IG page. It may not even be 20 seconds.
I want to check that out. I am really, really interested because, like I said, everything else I can live without. I don't have to have the makeup. I don't have to have the liner. Could care less about the lipstick, but the lashes, I have to have.
And I'm the total opposite. I have to have a lip. Like I don't have,
You
I
have
don't
to
need
have
a
a lip?
lash. I don't need makeup. I have to have a lip.
You have to have a lip, bold
To go
lip.
to the grocery store. Yes, I'm that
Okay,
person.
so you can't just have like the lip gloss. It has to be but some
Well,
color.
no, I can do lip gloss because.
But color.
Yeah, as long
Gotcha.
as it's a color. I can't go anywhere without it.
Gotcha. I hear you. I remember someone posted something on Instagram, and you probably saw it. It was floating around at one point, and it was 4 categories. What could you live without? Brows,
never.
lashes. It was brows, lashes, lips, and something else. I'm like, oh God, I could not live without my lashes. Forget the brows. I don't care about anything else as long as I have my lashes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So I'm definitely interested in
Okay.
the magnetic.
We'll
So
get you on board.
are they wind approved?
They are.
Tested?
They're stage approved. One of my
What stage approved?
One of my customers is in a go-go band,
Okay.
and she performed in them. And actually, it's a video on my page that
Okay.
she did and tagged me in. And you know, you're always under lights and moving around and sweating. And
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
They aren't going anywhere.
I'm gonna have to check them out because that's my biggest fear too. Like I can get it to go on in 20 seconds
then
and
it'll
look
come
pretty,
right off.
and then I get to where I'm going, and then it comes off.
No, ma'am. Once
Oh
it's
my
on, it's
goodness.
on.
That is amazing. So can you sleep in them?
You can't. I've slept in them,
Okay.
and they didn't wake up on my pillow.
That's what I was afraid of because I think I read somewhere that you couldn't sleep in them. You have to take them off.
I've slept in
Each night.
and I'm not recommending it, but I've had those nights where I've slept in makeup.
You've slept in them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sold and I'm a fan already. So we're gonna go to a quick break and we will be right back, you guys. Do you or anyone you know have a business or a brand you want to promote? Would you like to be a guest or be a part of our studio audience? If so, contact us at thechelleyroyshow@gmail.com or contact us on Instagram at The Chelley Roy Show. Can't wait to hear from you guys. Thank you. Welcome back to The Chelley Roy Show. I am still here with beauty mogul, Miss Natalia Megan. I did it again, Schenika. I know, right? So we left off talking about the magnetic lashes, which sold. Definitely want to get a pair. You guys make sure you go to the website as well, Natalia Megan, and check out the entire beauty line, the eyelashes, and more. There's more to come. There you go. Thank you for the commercial. So there's so much.
It is.
So you were featured on WJLA, and the most biggest thing was the unveiling of your billboard
Yes.
in Times Square. Clap it up for her, you guys. Super accomplishment. And before we go there, I want to thank our creative director, Miss Angela Washington, for the creative design for the billboard in Times Square. I know she doesn't want to be mentioned, but you are talented and you are great at what you do. So we thank you. Thank you. So what was that feeling like? I know how I felt not knowing you at the time.
Right.
It was like me being proud for my sister. To just see that and kind of walk through it with you as you were counting down and waiting for it to unveil. What was that feeling like?
I was such a crybaby. Oh my goodness.
Absolutely.
I felt so many different emotions, and that billboard is coming off of my feature in Essence magazine.
Wow.
So I was still reeling from, they featured me and they named me number 5 for a Black woman-owned beauty brand to shop with.
Amen. Give it up.
Yes.
That's a milestone right there. Huge accomplishment.
Yes. So it was that feature, and then like 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, it's billboard time. And I was so busy leading up to it, when the day of, it was just like, oh, okay, it's here. But when I got out there and was being interviewed,
it was a different feeling.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was like, oh
just
my
everything
goodness.
came at once.
And
all
then
the
when
emotions.
I turned around, and because I saw it before, but it's different when you see it on a computer.
Yeah.
in Times Square.
Difference.
So when I turned around, I was like, damn, I did that.
Yes, you did. You did. Give it here. You did that. From one sister to another, you did that.
I did, and I didn't really realize the impact of it, because like I said, it was so much leading up to it, but the impact of that billboard and the messages I received and the phone calls and inboxes and just, I was like, okay.
Well deserved. I mean, you put in the work. Like you said, it was an idea years ago.
Yes.
You know, with everything that you had been through in life, you could have just, said, forget about it.
Absolutely.
But the fact that you held true to your idea and your dream and your vision, and looking into now, you now have a contract. Not to mention, guys, not only did they do the big unveiling in Times Square, but Schenika, beauty mogul of Natalia Megan, has a contract with Walmart.
Yes, I do.
Give it up for her, guys. You guys can go to Walmart as well.
Yes.
And purchase any of those items.
Absolutely.
So talk to me about that. You are glowing, sis. Continue to shine.
Thank you.
You hear me? Continue. Continue.
Thank you. It's been rough. It's
Of
a lot
course.
of, one thing I will say to anyone, don't give up. It's not always easy. It's not glitz and glamour. But in the end, it's worth it.
Absolutely.
COVID really opened my eyes to a lot of things. A lot of things.
Oh, I can imagine. And that was my other question. How were you able to stay focused and really be different during COVID? Because COVID was a huge distraction. It was a huge setback. It was a huge loss for so many people. So how were you able to stay focused and just push through that?
Well, honestly, the beginning of COVID, I had my breakdown.
Of course.
I had my crying and what am I going to do? I was supposed to do the Beauty Con in New York. So I had a booth there that was canceled.
Gotcha.
And it was just like, okay, Schenika, you sell makeup. People are home.
Yes.
They don't need it. So then I thought, after my breakdown, I prayed on it. And I said, okay, it's time to refocus and rechannel your energy.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, people are on Zoom, they're on WebEx, they're on Skype, they're on this. They may not be leaving out of the house, but they still need to look presentable for their meetings. So it just sort of was a switch. You have to adapt.
And that was so
And that's
smart.
what I had to do.
That was so smart, because I tell you, some people that I know that before COVID didn't really put the effort in, I guess because maybe they just weren't really into makeup or just, really wanted to do anything with themselves like that. Those people were starting to make themselves up for Zoom. It was like the total opposite. Like the people who weren't into makeup are now into makeup, like you said, because they're
on
on
marketing tactic.
Yeah.
And so and I launched new products. I launched my eyeshadows during COVID.
Wow.
I finalized Walmart during COVID.
That is amazing. So awesome. Way to just stay focused, keep pushing, be determined. You know what I mean? And persevere, because that's really what it took.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
A lot of prayer.
That too. Definitely a lot of prayer. Definitely a lot of prayer. So what other things did you do to kind of market yourself, to try to get your name and the brand out there during COVID? Did you do maybe like virtual, what do you call it, like facials, or like what did you, no?
I didn't. I marketed myself more on Twitter.
Wow.
And LinkedIn than I did Facebook
Really?
and IG. I did.
I would have never thought, like Twitter.
Twitter
I
is
haven't
hot.
seen Twitter. You said it's hot? It's still hot?
Yes. That's how
I haven't seen Twitter in maybe 10 years.
And
Really?
I had to learn how to tweet. I
Yeah,
called my
yeah.
daughter, like, okay, what do I do?
Yeah.
Now what do I do? Because it keeps going off and it was driving me crazy.
Wow.
But
That's a
Twitter
nugget.
Twitter is good for business.
Wow. And so when you say LinkedIn, I think professional, career, not to say that what you're doing isn't, but I don't automatically go there for marketing.
You'd be surprised. That's where all the heavy hitters are. When you say
Wow.
corporate,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
thinking presidents of Maybelline, presidents of what's some media, Tyler Perry, for instance. He's on LinkedIn. He posts every day.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you
And
guys
you
know
have
that? Is
hashtags
it
on
just
LinkedIn.
me? I know you probably knew that, didn't you?
And you have hashtags on LinkedIn that you can use. You can tag Tyler Perry. You can tag whoever you want to tag. So,
Really?
Yeah. People are sleeping on LinkedIn. I'm trying
Yeah,
to
that'd
tell
be
you.
me. I need to wake up.
But it's a lot, because you have Facebook, you have IG, you have Twitter, you have LinkedIn. So social media alone is a job.
It is. It definitely is. So being as though you're super busy now, I know you're working on, the new launch of some of your new items. Do you have a team now, or is it still all in-house? Because you know how sometimes when you have an idea and you kind of birth it and you've been with it for so long, to the point that it starts really, really growing quickly.
Yeah.
So you need help. So are you at that point where you have a team now, or is it just?
I have a small team. I do
You said
know
baby
I need
steps.
to hire. Yeah, baby
steps.
So I would be a micromanager, I think, because that's my baby.
I would too.
That's my baby.
I would too.
Literally started my company in my kitchen. So I do have a small team, but I do know I need to hire.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you'll get there.
I can't
And
do everything by myself.
you definitely can't do everything by yourself. And you're going to have a warehouse soon, so you're going to outgrow that kitchen and your garage. Like,
everything.
yeah, everything for sure. So once you launched, or before you launched, when everything became an idea, when you made your first lipstick and it was a success, and then you came out with the different colors, did you have the support from your friends and family right away, or?
I had support. Honestly, I didn't target them, because I don't want them to feel like I expect it because they're my family, or I expect it because you're my friend. I want you to do it. So I didn't even go into the mindset of, I'm going to target my family first, or I'm going to target my friends. I wanted strangers, and I wanted strangers because they will be brutally honest.
Absolutely.
They won't sugarcoat like family or friends.
Gotcha.
So my target was not them, but they're very supportive.
That's really good.
They're
really
very
good.
supportive.
That's really good. I know you talked about it being rough at times, so I'm sure there was a point where you wanted to give up. Talk to me a little bit about
There have
that.
been several points where I've wanted to give up, even now.
Yeah.
And people may not understand. It's just what it takes
Mm-hmm.
and how much of yourself you have to give. I've literally given my life.
I
You
can
know,
believe
things
that.
I used
Yeah.
to do, I just don't
You
have
just
time
don't,
to do.
yeah.
Things, travel and all of that, I literally am like, okay, let me look at my calendar. What month did you say?
Yeah.
So I'm already trying to plan something for fall.
But
Because
that's
I can't just
expected,
get
though,
up
yeah.
and go. But COVID was one of my lowest points.
Mm-hmm.
And I just said, what am I doing? It
Right.
was like 4:30 in the morning, hadn't been asleep. I can't even remember if I ate anything. Like
Oh, that's
today.
not good. Yeah,
I'm
you-
like, did you eat breakfast? No.
You have to eat something,
I know.
especially running, like you're running, and you know your body gets to a point where it
Yeah.
doesn't even run off of fumes anymore. So you
Exactly.
definitely have to have that balance and create that balance for you.
Yeah, and so I had my little 5-minute breakdown, and it's like, okay, what you doing? Get up.
Yeah.
You're not a quitter.
There you
weren't
go.
born to quit, and you didn't come this far to quit.
I love that. I love that. So not only are you a self-motivator when you get to that space where you get kind of discouraged and things get rough, what other support system do you have? Is your husband good at that? Like with
He's
cheering
very
you
good.
on? And
He's my number one cheerleader.
That's good.
He is. He's very supportive. It's been times where he'll be like, you know what, stop.
good.
Because you're not focused, you're not thinking, you need to rest.
Mm-hmm.
And so he'll be like, babe, shut it down.
That's good. And that's good that he's just that much in tune to you when he knows that
Yeah.
something is off and he knows that you're not giving it your all,
Absolutely.
which is really good. So I know that Natalia Megan is your baby.
It is.
And I know your husband is your baby. Do you let him help you, like with some of the products
He
and the
does.
testing?
In the beginning, I was like, no, I can do everything. And then he was like, well, just show me. And see, now we have
I love
machines.
that, 'cause he's interested.
Yeah,
He's
so
taking an
he can
interest.
run the machine, and he's hands-on now.
I love that. I love that. I did see when I was on Walmart looking at some of your items, and it said, I think it said something like fulfilled by owner or vendor.
Yes.
So when you go on the website, you place an order. Walmart isn't fulfilling it from their fulfillment center.
Right.
You're actually
I'm fulfilling
the
it, although I
orders.
said, okay, that's going to have to change.
Yeah.
So I think within the next couple of months, everything will be fulfilled by Walmart because it's a lot.
Oh, I can
Because
imagine.
I have Walmart, I have Amazon, and I have my website.
Oh no, I didn't know you did all three.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you definitely need some help. So you got a mini warehouse in your living room, your garage.
Everywhere.
Wow. I didn't know you were doing self-fulfillment with all three. I just know I
Amazon
saw
will be
that.
fulfilling mid-June, so I'm pushing that.
That'll
off.
be great.
Yeah.
And that'll
Walmart
be a
will
load
right
off.
After that, and then my daughter and my daughters, I should say, they're going to help run the website.
That's going to be a huge load off because I'm sure you've done your research. You're a researcher, you read, you do your due diligence. You know, when you turn it over to Amazon, well, it's good that you're turning it over to Amazon because you don't have those huge demands in terms of
Exactly.
turning it around,
Exactly.
in 2
Let
days.
them do it all.
Exactly, exactly. So I know we've talked extensively about your brand and what's next. If you can tell us quickly what's next for you. I know you have some other items that are coming out, but quickly so that we can get your social media handles.
Okay,
What's
well,
next?
the items coming out, like I said, it's just going to be more cosmetic items.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of features that are coming out.
Good.
So I'm like major features that are coming out.
Okay.
I'm working on a couple of more deals. Walmart is not my be-all.
Good, absolutely.
That's
It shouldn't
just the
be.
beginning.
It shouldn't be.
I do have a couple of other deals in the works.
Great.
So, yeah.
Okay. Well, tell everybody what your social media handles are and how they can get in touch with you.
So social media, I am at Natalia M Beauty.
Mm-hmm.
That's on IG, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. And my website is nataliaMbeauty.com. And also you can shop Amazon.com or Walmart.com.
All right, you guys, be sure to go to Walmart and Amazon or go to Natalia Megan Beauty. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this break. Do you or anyone you know have a business or a brand you want to promote? Would you like to be a guest or be a part of our studio audience? If so, contact us at thechelleyroyshow@gmail.com or contact us on Instagram at The Chelley Roy Show. Can't wait to hear from you guys.
It's the Chelley Roy Show. It's the Chelley Roy Show. It's the Chelley Roy Show, and it's going down. You can laugh, you can learn. Chelley Roy, it's your turn. You can laugh, you can learn. Chelley Roy, it's your turn. You can laugh, you can learn. Chelley Roy, it's your turn. You can laugh, you can learn. Chelley Roy, it's your turn.
Welcome back to the Chelley Roy Show. My next guest is a former musician, R&B artist, and he is the author of the trilogy, Easy Prey. Help me welcome Mr. Keith Childs. Welcome, Keith.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome. So listen, you are doing some major things, making some major moves with this Easy Prey. Mm-hmm. So before we jump into that, let's go back a little bit. Help the people understand who Keith Childs is and what's your story.
Story, wow. Well, actually how I ended up here is about 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. A friend of mine, a partner, Mitch Cradle, and I was working on a TV show. You know Mitch?
I'm very familiar with Mitch. We worked on some projects together.
We working on a TV show called Twisted Justice.
Twisted Justice. Okay.
It's about DC and the court and the council and all this good stuff. It's a great idea, but once we put a team together and found out it was just too much. It was too astronomical. The payment, once reality hit in, we got attorneys involved. Found out it was way more. So we kind of dissipated, right? All of us. Me, there's a lot. There was about 6 of us around that table, right? Mitch so me and Mitch and I, I found Mitch on the internet and we started it. So the idea of this, because this is my first book, Mitch had written a couple books previously.
Sure.
So after we broke up, I was like, you know what? Kind of went our own way and do our own thing. I said, I want to write started off as a movie. Not knowing.
Easy Prey did?
That's the idea was.
Okay.
The idea was but then I got to writing it one night and I said, I'm going to make this a book. So I contacted Mitch, because mind you, I've never written a book before. After my first book. So I contacted Mitch and he told me the best thing he ever said, Keith, don't worry about nothing, block all the noise out and just keep writing.
That sounds like Mitch.
That was Mitch.
That sounds like Mitch. And keep rocking, right?
And keep rocking. So that was actually, I always tell people that was the best piece of information, because not coming from you don't want to listen arrogant kind of standpoint. Being a brand new writer, is so much stuff going through your mind. Is the book long enough? How many pages should it be? Blah, 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 all this. Mitch was like, don't worry about none of that, just keep writing. So that's what I did. I was writing the book, started it out, writing it, and then my mom took ill. Right. My mom took ill for so it was about like a 5-6 month period. I didn't do nothing. I was beside her, helping her get to the doctors and everything. She ended up passing away.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. In 2016, but before she passed, she was like, man, just make sure you write the book, baby. So
confirmation.
Absolutely. After, got through my feelings and, trying to subside and keep moving on in her memory, I said, I don't care if nobody read the book. I'm just going to write it.
Amen.
I'm just going to finish it. So I finished it, not knowing at all anything about, until then I got exactly. So I had an editor and I started meeting people, talking to people, got an editor to get it, cleaned up and everything. And it came out tremendously. I mean, people loved it. The story, once the story was done, it was like oh my God, this whole.
I can't wait to get into it.
Oh, yeah.
I've read a little bit, but I can't wait to get in depth.
I think you'll like it.
And to get into it. So you're self-published.
I'm self-published, yep. Empower Publishing Group.
Empower, okay. So that's the name of.
But my publishing group, Empower.
Okay.
Group.
Gotcha. So what made you decide to self-publish versus using a publishing company? Like, what was your thought process as you walked through?
Well, as
what
I
was
was
the best approach for you?
As I was coming from music, because like I said, used to open up with, I used to be in a singing group for 20 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my partners and I, we went around, we did a lot of singing and touring and having fun on that circuit. I noticed that like the Cash Money Millionaires and Puffy and all these cats, when they kept more control of their artistic gift, they had more, it gave them more artistic control, right? So I decided, because at first I was thinking, should I get a publisher? And then the more I said, you know what, I want to do it my way. And I know the way my book is written because it's erotic, it's very detailed, very sexual. And I didn't want anybody to be like, no, take that out, put that in, you can't say this. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna write it myself.
Makes sense.
And I gambled on myself, and it came out. People say it's a really good book. They love it. So that what made me want to go self-publish.
Right, to have total control. No, that makes sense. Of anything else,
yes,
that definitely makes sense.
Thank you.
So you said you were a former R&B singer, like
years ago, right?
Huh?
I'm just saying many years ago, but yes.
But the more I listen to you, I can hear the singing. Have you always had like the raspy voice?
Always a raspy voice, yes.
Gotcha.
Always had the little raspy voice.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you get into singing? Did you grow up in the church or
No. In college, me and I met two of my best friends in college. We put together a group, came home, and we met two gentlemen outside of college, and we just was following that whole Drew Hill, Jodeci era, the boy band group, and we just started. And my buddy Eric and Tony and Levaz and Joe, they were super talented. We just came out, we just young and hungry.
Right.
And we end up, through the trials and the failures and successes, we met a gentleman about toward the middle of our career, Gene Griffin. He used to be the manager of Guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the group Guy. And
Gotcha.
Gene was a pistol, right?
Gotcha.
So we was under him for a little while. We worked with a couple other managers, but I like Gene a lot because he taught me a lot.
Taught you a lot.
Yeah,
That's the key.
He had that stigma in the industry, like a Suge Knight was, that people kind of feared him, didn't want to deal with him, or whatever it was. But anyway, we learned a lot from him. So it was a fun ride. We toured, we had fun, the camaraderie was great.
Good.
Yeah,
That's
so that
good.
was the whole idea of why I ended up, saying, hey, I saw how the music game was going, and I said, you know what, whenever, now I'm doing this, I want to kind of control.
Right, you want it, because it can be tricky.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
It can definitely be tricky. And even with having management, you still have to make sure that you have someone on your team and in your circle that you can trust, because it gets really sticky, really tricky. And like you said, you can definitely learn some things.
Oh, yeah.
If you're not careful.
You better know it.
You could definitely learn some things. So as far as your singing, do you play instruments as well, or no? So you were just strictly singing.
We started out with 5 guys, and then we ended up being a 4-man singing group. So I was just like the baritone bass of the group, but
gotcha.
Yeah, it was just fun. We just 4-man singing group. But then one of the guys, Eric, he was the keyboard. He's the producer. He played, but the rest of all of us just kind of just sang.
Gotcha. Well, no, that's good too. I mean, if you're doing something that you enjoy doing and that you're passionate about, it shows. And if you have fun while you're doing it, that's meaningful too. So it sounds like everything that you wanted it to do, you were able to do that. So
yeah, it was fun. I mean, of
that's
course,
important.
we always, wanted to wish it could have been further, but like anything, it's timing. And if it's meant for you, it's meant for you.
Right.
So we got out of it what we
what you expected,
Right, but it's no regrets. I loved that time in my life. It was really fun. Chasing
I absolutely love that. Yeah.
It was fun.
So you guys gonna tour again?
Nah,
I'm just kidding.
People always say that, we go reunite, do it.
But you never know.
We never know. I ain't gonna say no, but we never know.
You never know.
Right.
The opportunity may present itself.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah. We have to get the guys together. We might get them dusters off and get out there and
I'm
trying
sure
to
you
do
guys
something
still
again.
got it. I'm sure you still got it.
Well, we a little older and fatter and bald now, but
Listen, it's something for everybody. So
Absolutely,
no, that's good.
absolutely.
It's good that you guys had a good time when you did it. As far as Easy Prey, talk to me about the title of the book. How did you come up with the title?
But Easy Prey actually came about a friend of mine, my best friend, my man Pete. He'd actually in the book. He's Agent Halston. So
Agent Halston.
Agent Halston, remember that?
Gotcha.
But he's my best friend from Sandbox. So one day we was in Dallas. I was taking a trip in Dallas, and we was talking about just making up this whole analogy. What if this little bionic stuff we do, this bionic woman, this silly guy talk.
I
right?
remember that back in the day, though, Bionic Woman.
So so the idea came up. We were talking about the names, where the name came from. It's an analogy. What if this lady came into a bar and it was everything you expected, and looked the way you looked, and yada yada, and all this, and came down and said,
That would be nice to have the complete package.
That
her,
complete
her put together exactly the way
all
you
this
want.
analogy, just talking, and said, what if she gave you her key and said, I'm leaving in the morning, come visit me. We was laughing and joking about how many crazy people be easy prey. So that's where the name was born.
Very
Then we was
befitting.
like, what if she was crazy?
That happens in real life,
So
too.
that's how, exactly. So
Because
that's
men are very visual, so that happens in real life. You see a beautiful woman,
You're right.
and you just go based off of your visual, and you get that opportunity.
exactly.
Next thing you know, she's crazy.
Be crazy as I don't know what.
Yeah.
Right? So that's where we laughed it off and joked off, but that's where it stuck with me. That's kind of, then a couple of years later, maybe a year or two later, the whole idea of going through the thing with Mitch, and then the idea of the book was born. I was like, you know what, I got the title.
It's so befitting, though, and that's true story, real life. That's relatable, the idea, in terms of the idea behind the name.
Right.
So what made you decide to do a trilogy? Like, it sounds like you have this vivid imagination, which you have to be in any type of artist, whether it's writing, performing, or anything like that. So what made you want to do a trilogy?
Well, when I first thought about the book, I say I didn't want to write. My book is, one thing people love about my books. They easy reads. It's not a lot. Like, I just didn't want to go to. I know with me, maybe just because I'm lazy, right? But I didn't want to write a book with 300-400 pages, because people
Makes
in this
sense.
day and time
You
don't
lose
read that much. So I said, you know what? I want to tell the story in a short little, little
And
short
keep 'em
pages.
coming back for
and
more.
keep them coming back. So I
Smart.
broke it down and said, I'm gonna do a trilogy, because I didn't want to put all that in one book.
That makes sense.
So that was the whole concept behind it. And I just said, I'm gonna do a trilogy. Again, I was new. I had zero experience in writing. I just knew I wanted to do it.
Right.
And it just, I just.
But no, I get it. I get the trilogy part, because I'm an author as well. And I too, when I wrote my first book, I said I have at least 2 or 3 more books in me. So you know,
Yeah.
based on the depth of what it is you want to cover and what you want to talk about.
Exactly.
Kind of what you want to do up front. So that definitely makes sense. So I get that for sure.
Yeah, and they always say everyone has a bestseller in them. Everyone got at least one bestseller in them, right? That's the saying in writing. So I agree. If you enjoy it, for me, when I had no idea. Let me just tell you a story. I had no idea that I like writing. One, because when as a young child, I used to stutter real bad. Right?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, I stuttered really, really bad. And in English and writing essays and all that was kind of my least.
Of course.
Of course, because
The discouragement, yeah.
The discouragement, because stuttering, not just because I didn't know it, but when I had to read, I stuttered, and the kids, made fun. So I shied away. It made me become like a class clown.
Got it.
Just because I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
So it's more to it became therapeutic, because
Right.
when I finally got to this point where I say I'm writing a book, that was light years from where I used to be. So it was real. There was a holistic approach to it for me.
Right.
I'm gonna finish this book, because who'd have ever thought that I would write a book,
Absolutely.
knowing how I used to be
Right.
with stuff. So it
that's a
was
good
pleasing
point.
to me.
Hold that thought, and we're going to go to a quick break, and we will be right back. Do you or anyone you know have a business or a brand you want to promote? Would you like to be a guest or be a part of our studio audience? If so, contact us at thechelleyroyshow@gmail.com or contact us on Instagram at The Chelley Roy Show. Can't wait to hear from you guys. Welcome back, guys. I am still here with author Keith Childs. So we left off where we were talking about, if someone would have asked you years ago if you were going to write a book, you wouldn't see yourself writing a book because of your struggles with stuttering.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So and that's where, like, again, for this to have the whole self-gratification. It meant a lot to me. I don't think many people knew that.
Right.
But aside my close family. But when I started writing, because again, coming up through elementary and junior high, that whole writing piece, English, I really
shied away
really
from.
In elementary, I shied away from because it was just so embarrassing.
Of course.
Because it was just you stuttering, not knowing why, and. So I never thought that, the writing piece was something that I wanted. I love math and science. I excelled in those things.
That's great too.
Right, but it's just the other part. So that what made me. So when I got to writing this and started doing it, and it actually started coming to fruition, I'm like,
it is therapeutic too.
Very therapeutic.
It
I didn't have no
really
idea. So then, and let me tell you something funny, because you're an author as well, I think. My style of writing, right? People are always asking me, well, how'd you come up with your book? Where'd you write? Because one thing I did, I went to a writing class. When I started writing my book,
Gotcha.
I took a writing course, right? Because I was like, let me just get some knowledge of how writers write. I go to the course, and the instructor, I gave him what I was writing, and he was like, you read it? He said, have you written before? I was like, nah. He said, man, you have a talent.
Pretty good at it.
I mean, even though, it need to be cleaned up and edited, but he's like, I can feel the core
just
of
the
what you're writing.
concept of it.
Right. So that kind of excited me and pushed me like, oh, for real? Because it's somebody who say he's been doing it for 25 years.
Right.
And he gave me that kind of boost. And the wild thing is, like, I knew nothing about writing characters down. I knew nothing about outlining. Like when I went to these courses, like, you're supposed to write your outline down, write your characters. I did none of that because I didn't know. I wrote my whole book.
Right.
In my cell phone.
Really?
And then I didn't change the concept for part 2. Yep, when I'm sitting at the bar or sitting out there watching it in my car, I wrote my whole
Wow. So I didn't do mine quite that way. I did, I always tell people, because people always ask me, like, what's your technique? What do you recommend? I always tell people, pick a time and a place that works for you.
Right.
And just write. So I did the same thing you did. I just wrote and worried about the formatting later. I didn't do mine through my cell phone. I did it in Word. But this time around, because I do a lot of talk to text, this time around I said I would do it that way. And then once I do everything, throw it in the Word and then kind of start formatting and then breaking it down. Yeah. So that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, and when I was traveling, when I first got part 1 out, I did like a little tour, and I've met a lot of authors, and everybody, that opened my eyes too, because everybody write different. Everybody got their own different style of how they write.
Exactly.
For me, like, I just write fluently, and I always, one of my biggest, I'm a big fan of Jay-Z, right?
Yeah.
And I always, heard him say he don't write stuff down, he just get in there. And I'm not at all saying I'm like Jay-Z. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm just saying that my style of writing is I just write. I don't have any idea what I'm writing until I start writing.
I think it's best though.
And it develops. Do you do that as well?
I do. I just write, and as it comes.
Right. Yeah.
Like Mitch said, just write. He didn't tell me that, but I'm just quoting what you said. I just write, and then because sometimes you don't want to lose where you are and when it comes to mine. So I just write and then worry about formatting and just kind of breaking things down afterwards. So
I just write them, get my transcript, and then I hire my editors and my copy editors and all of them. I pay them. I learned, lesson learned is, being a first-time writer is even though you pay the editors, you still got to go behind them.
Yeah, you do. I learned that too.
I learned that too. You had to go behind the editors. I mean, I paid them, and I was thinking, oh, I paid them all this money. That's their job. But you still got to go behind them and check behind them.
They're human too.
They're human.
No,
Exactly.
that is so true.
Exactly.
I did learn that. I know sometimes previously when I turned over my transcript to the editor, some of the stuff that I had wrote, they auto-corrected it. And then I had to go back and make additional corrections. So no, you definitely have to go behind them for sure. They're human too.
Yeah, and it's fun. I mean, I love talking like the other authors, and like we were talking offline. being that person that share information.
You have
You
to.
know, because one thing I found when I was writing my first book, I had a lot of questions, right?
Yeah.
And it was hard to find people that would just be openly
To share.
And you can find people that want you to come to these seminars, which nothing wrong with.
Right.
Pay you for information, but
Right.
it's very hard to find someone just simple stuff.
There's nothing wrong
where you
with
get that
sharing.
printed at, and who's helping you with your design, and who helping you edit. It really was
I
for
think
me
it's
anyway.
just a big
It was hard to find people. that help me.
mindset shift that we all need to adapt to. It's nothing wrong with sharing.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? It just helps us push one another further.
Absolutely.
Like we should. So, and I know we talked in depth about a lot of things, and there's still a lot of things that I didn't even get to cover,
Okay.
and we're ending our time. So,
Right.
before we end, tell everybody what your social media handles are and what your website is so that they can go get your book.
Absolutely. Social media, everything is Arthur Keith Childs on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok. Everything is, I keep it simple. Everything is Arthur Keith Childs. You can get my book actually on Amazon and Barnes & Noble online. Also, I have a website you can go to, which is www.mpowgr.com, short for Empower Group. And you can go there. And I tell a lot of people, if you want me to personally sign your book, go to my site. I personally sign every book, every person that come to my site and buy a book or buy a combination 1 and 2, I autograph it and send it out the next day. That's it.
Thank you so much. I want to thank my guests, Miss Natalia Megan and also Mr. Keith Childs. Thank you both for being here. I want to thank my audience and my viewers and everyone who continue to support me. And I just have to say, I'm feeling left out. I need to, anyone who has a business or a brand, you guys make sure you go to Twitter and LinkedIn. You two are in sync, so I appreciate that. So you guys, thank you so much for continuing to support me. You make sure you go to my Instagram, The Chelley Roy Show, and follow me, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel. You guys have a great night.